Hello friends, today we are going to begin with the next chapter of cost accounting, which is material cost. Material is all the commodities or the physical objects used to make the final product. Suppose there is a business for production of shirts. For this purpose, you will need cloth, buttons, thread, needle, and so on. These materials directly go into the production of shirts. Without the cloth, thread, buttons, you cannot stitch a shirt. Now, this shirt will be stitched in a machine. The stitching machine will require lubricants, oils, etc. to help it function properly. These are the different kinds of materials, that is, the physical objects that are used for the production of the finished goods, that is, shirts. So, cloth, buttons, threads, etc., that goes directly into the production of the shirts and form part of the final product are known as direct materials, whereas lubricants, oils, etc., they help in the production process, but they do not directly go into the finished product, and therefore they are known as indirect materials. So, material is of two types. One is a direct material, and second is an indirect material. Direct material is a cost which can be directly attributable to the end product, whereas indirect material are the materials which are not directly attributable to the particular final product. So in this case, cloth, button, threads, etc. are direct material, and lubricants, oils, etc. are indirect material. Now, the material cost constitutes a significant part of all the manufacturing and the production activity. Therefore, it is very important to have proper control over your material costs. The importance of proper recording and control of material are: now, the direct material forms a significant part of the finished product. If the quality of the raw material is not good, then the final product will also be not of a good quality. Say the thread is not of a good quality and is weak, then the shirts that are made of this thread will also be of bad quality, and the stitching will come out very soon. So it has a great impact on the quality of the final product. So the quality of final product depends on the quality of the inputs. Next, based on the direct costs, management decides how much should be the sale price. Since material is a very significant part of the product, the cost of the final product will directly be attributable is directly related with the cost of material used to produce the product. Say, for one shirt, the cost of cloth is 100 rupees, thread will cost 10 rupee, and buttons will cost rupees 20. So the total direct material cost is 130. Now sale price that will be fixed for this shirt will be defined considering that 130 is the minimum cost that will be incurred. So the sale price will obviously be fixed at a rate that is higher than 130 rupees so that management can earn a profit. Therefore, the second importance is price of the product. The cost of final product is directly related with the cost of material. Next, suppose you want to make 100 shirts for which you require 200 buttons. Now, in the production process, say you have only 150 buttons in hand, then the production process will be interfered. You will have to stop the production process until you acquire more 50 buttons. Therefore, it is very important to exercise control over the inventory of material so as to ensure that the production process runs smoothly and is not paused due to lack of material. So, the third reason is production continuity. To avoid production interruptions, an adequate level of stock should be maintained. Next, suppose you have 100 raw material pieces in the warehouse. Then you will have to incur the warehouse rent. That is, there is some cost for holding the stock. Also, if you do not have sufficient stock in hand, your production process will be interrupted. Therefore, it is very important to strike a balance between overstocking and understocking. Overstocking is a situation where you have excess stock in your warehouse. This will incur costs such as storage costs, whereas understocking is a situation where you have less quantity of stock in hand. This might result in interruption in the production process. So, both these situations are not favorable for any enterprise. Therefore, we need proper records of material to ensure that just the right amount of inventory is always maintained in the warehouse to avoid both overstocking and understocking situations. So, the fourth reason is cost of stock holding and stock out. Next, wastage and other losses. While handling and processing of materials, some wastages and losses arise due to spillage, pilferage, etc. Based on the nature of material, these are classified as normal and abnormal costs which has been discussed in detail in the first chapter. So, in order to minimize those wastages to the minimal quantity, it is important to have sufficient details and proper records of the material. Lastly, proper records of material provides regular information about the inventory in hand. These information helps the management for timely and informed decision making, that is, when to place an order, how much stock to hold, where there can be made any improvement in the production process, and so on. So we have seen six importance for proper recording and control of material. First is the quality of final product, because your raw material forms the major portion of your finished product. It affects the quality of the final product. Second, since it is a significant part of any product, the cost of the final product is directly related with the cost of the material. Next, the production process should run smoothly and should not be interrupted for want of material. Therefore, an adequate level of stock should be maintained. Next, both overstocking and understocking situations are unfavorable for any enterprise, since in case of overstocking, the enterprise will have to incur costs of stock holding, and a stockout situation might result in interruptions in the production activity. Next, there are both normal and abnormal costs which are being incurred in a production process. Therefore, proper recording and control of material is required to reduce the wastages to a minimal amount. And last, it provides valuable information to the entity for timely and informed decision making, such as when to place an order, how much quantity to order, what improvements can be made in the production process, etc. Next, we are going to look at what is material control. In our last chapter, we have discussed the term cost control. So, it means that before a production process starts, say the management fix that for 10 shirts, the following material and following costs will be incurred. Cloth costing rupees 10,000, buttons of 1,000, and thread rupees 2,000. So a total of 13,000 rupees will be incurred for making 10 shirts. Now these rates are fixed before the production process starts. After the production process, we get the actual material costs. Say, in actual, the costs incurred were cloth rupees 11,000, buttons rupees 900 only, and thread rupees 2100. So, cost control or material control is a mechanism where necessary steps are taken to keep the cost in accordance with the set standard. The variances are analyzed, and the reasons for such an increase or decrease in the actual cost is identified and analyzed by the management to ensure that such costs are avoided in the future. Since material is a significant part of the final product, it is very important to have an efficient system of cost control in place. So, what are the objectives of the system of material control? One of the main objectives of system of material control is to minimize interruption in the production process. We determine in the beginning of a production process that how much quantity of the raw material will be needed for producing the finished product. This is done to ensure that as a production process continues, there is no interruptions due to lack of finished product. So, The first objective is minimizing interruption in production process. Next is the optimization of material cost. Material constitutes a high portion of the total costs. Therefore, efforts are made to obtain all the material at the lowest possible cost, making sure that the quality is not compromised at any rate. The holding costs, the storage costs, etc., are also tried to be minimized. So, one of the objectives of material control is to optimize the material cost, that is, to reduce the cost to the least possible price without compromising in its quality. Next, material control aims at ensuring that the actual cost is in line with the predetermined costs. So, one of the objectives of material control is to avoid unnecessary wastages that may arise during the production process. So, the next objective is reduction in wastages. From time to time, the actual costs are compared with the predetermined costs. The reasons are identified for any increase and decrease so that the processes can be improved and the wastages can be reduced. Next objective is adequate information. Information is very important to make an informed decision. So, proper records ensure that reliable information is available for all items of material, which helps in detecting losses, pilferage, and also helps in planning the production activities properly. The last objective is completion of the order in time. Periodic review of the production process and comparison of the actual costs incurred vis-a-vis the predetermined cost helps a management to ensure that all the orders are completed in time. It also helps to improve the reputation of the entity. So, we have seen that there are 5 objectives of the system of material control: minimizing interruption in the production process, optimizing the cost, reducing wastages, adequate information, and completion of order in time. Next, we are going to look at the requirements of material control. Now that we have determined what are the objectives of material control, we are going to look at what are the prerequisites for a good material control system. So, first and the most important, every entity has many departments: purchasing, processing, receiving, inspecting, storage, etc. Therefore, a good material control system can only exist when there is proper coordination between all the departments. So, first is proper coordination of all departments such as finance, purchasing, receiving, etc. Next, the first stage in material control is procuring the material. So, we have to determine the purchase procedure so that purchases are made after making suitable inquiries at the most favorable terms to the firm. So, second is determining the purchase procedure. Next, we place orders from time to time with the supplier for procurement of the raw material. So, a standard format should be used for placing the orders, taking receipt of the goods, authorizing issues, etc. So, basically, in every stage of material, that is, placing an order, receiving the goods, inspecting it, storing it, etc., there should be a standard format and procedure in place. So, use of standard forms for placing the order, noting receipt of goods, etc. Next, a lot of money is blocked in the material. So, we have to prepare adequate budgets concerning the material to ensure that purchases are made at the least possible costs without compromising the quality and the materials are used in an efficient manner. So, next is a preparation of budget. Then there should be a system of internal check and control to ensure that all transactions involving materials are properly approved and automatically checked. So, operation of a system of internal check so that all transactions involving material, supplies, equipment purchases are properly approved and automatically checked. Now, once the material has been received, it has to be stored in a well designated location with proper safeguards so that it does not get spoiled due to termites, insects, floods, etc. So, the next requirement is a storage of all material in a well designed location with proper safeguards. Next is a system of continuous stock taking so that it is possible to determine at any time the amount and value of each kind of material in stock. Stock taking means verifying the physical inventory, that is, the inventory available in the warehouse vis a vis the stock as per your books. This helps to ensure that no transaction of uh, sale, usage, or production has been unaccounted for. Next is the operation of a system of stores control and issue so that the materials are delivered to the department in the right amount at the right time they are needed. So, next is the operation of a system of issues so as to ensure timely and adequate supply of material to the departments. Next is the development of system of accounts and records which exhibit summary and detailed costs at the stage of material receipt and consumption. So, maintenance of proper accounts and records. Last is regular reporting of material purchase, issues, issue from stock, goods returned, etc. So we have seen the major requirements of material control are: first is a proper coordination between all departments. The first process in material control is determining the purchase procedure. Then, for all the steps in purchases, that is, placing the order, noting receipt of goods, etc., a standard format should be used. Adequate budgets should be prepared so as to exercise control over the costs. Internal checks should be put in place so that all transactions are properly authorized and approved. The material should be stored in a well defined location with proper safeguards so as to avoid wastages. Then, continuous stock taking should be there so as to ensure that the physical stock is in line with the stock as per books. There should be an efficient system of issues to the department so that timely and adequate supply of material is ensured. Next, regular reporting and proper accounts and records should be maintained. Now that we have gone through the objectives and requirements of material control, the last we have the elements of material control. So material control, it is a systematic process where controls are established over the procurement, storage, and the usage of materials so as to maintain an even flow of material. So, there are three elements. First is control over procurement. Next is a control over storage. And last, the material usage control. Hope these concepts are clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can post them in the comment section below. If you like the video, do share and subscribe. Thank you.